So much in life just comes down to the essential things we do, the things that are closest to our hearts and that actually embody everything we are and all we do. And I think whatever we are pursuing, when we have never left the actual focus in regard of how close we can be to this fulfillment, this intrinsic motivation we come up with, everything we do will feel so lighter and will just be so easier, as we have something in mind we want to get done, that everything else just like comes on its own, comes so easily all of a sudden. So whenever we start to get lost in the amount of information we can retrieve or we have to, because we are moving ourselves through these fields in which we develop certain skills that might be necessary for the things we do, it's quite easy to lose on what the initial motivation, that drive was, because it can certainly get so unclear so fast once there's just too much around you. The whole vision fades within all these new things you all of a sudden have to understand. And I think with this comes also a big probability that we may lose on these driving factors that determine how far we can go with our vision. And that is coming down to what you are doing and how deep it layers itself down, because there are some things where you can quite stick to that narrow focus and still get great results, because you just have to wrap your head around more often, get more time on it, have more time spent doing certain things within it, and get further and further ahead, because you get more skilled and get more experience and find new techniques. But there are also things in life that require a much broader skill set. I'm not saying that some of the things that have like a more narrow focus on one specific skill set are easier to approach, but what they commonly have easier to wrap your own head around is the vision and a certain level of progression you see in it, because you are pursuing something that can be measured by yourself. You're getting this instantaneous response from the thing you are doing and how good you are with that specific thing you are approaching, and therefore you have a good overview on where you are, how far you can go, and how much more is needed from you to get to that point where you desire to see yourself. But with other things, when the amount of unknown spaces is quite high, and you are certainly not one who is good at this one thing, who only does this one thing perfectly and builds their skill set on this thing, but are a person who knows that you'll need that skill and so many more only to be able to get things rolling. And mostly when I'm talking about things like that, it is, or it can be categorized within a certain space of entrepreneurship where you just have an idea, you want to get out, and you want to like make a business around it. And I'm not saying that every business has to be a multi-layered, high complexion where you have to understand everything from A to Z in a manner that is so hard. But I still think that it comes with much skill to be acquired and a way more agile approach when compared with everything else you might do that just needs your one skill. But I think that's also the power of building something on your own, because whenever you start to get a glimpse of a skill that hasn't been taught by anyone to you before, or you haven't taught it yourself, and you start to understand more about it and actually find a practical way to implement it within the field of your actual expertise, or within the whole thing you're doing, then you'll expand your senses and your whole experience to such a degree where you can apply things in the long run to whatever you have learned previously. So I think that whenever you're trying to get things rolling from the ground on and don't have anyone doing things for you and are in charge of so many things that have to get done, the amount of experience you get is the biggest salary you get within that time, because that's also the time where you don't get any money from anywhere, because you just had the idea, you developed something that could work for another person, and then you send it out into the world and will need to find a way that people actually want to do or use what you where you dedicated your time and effort in it. So it's quite a big thing for me at this point, because as mentioned, it is a very broad field. It is something that requires many skills to be able to succeed, and as well many people, and therefore I'll have to try improve certain skills that I'm not yet fully grown, where I know that I'm lacking a lot. But it's also good to see that these fields will be filled by whatever step I'm doing, because it's experience and it's it's coming from deep within. But to have something that's truly coming from within, you will need to have the vision close to your heart. And that's what I meant in the beginning, that whenever you are tapping into fields on your own where you haven't been before, in a space that is completely new to you, in an area that is so unexplored from you, and you're almost, your senses are playing their act in every way you can possibly think of, then the amount of input can be so high that whenever you don't narrow your focus again and start coming back to earth and just see that one thing you're pursuing now, but still keep track of all the other things, you'll just lose the whole drive that brought up so much light into this unknown field in the first place. And that is a thing I don't want to lose no more, because it just happens so often when you're spending dozens and hundreds of hours behind something that's not yet graspable for anyone, or not able to be measured in a great regard, because it's not there yet, as my app is still in the end phase of the development. That you just have to tick off all these different areas and also start to focus more and more on the things you might not have enough expertise yet, because there are quite many areas we are very likely to need more information about to actually be able to make a working product or get the idea we have rolling in a great way. And questions are the best friends of those who want to build big, because no question is too stupid. But what can make you feel stupid, even though you are never, because you're on an amazing track whenever you're approaching something so big for yourself, is that you may just lose on a vision throughout all these sensations you have around you. And that is a thing where I say, okay, I have to get myself back to the ground and keep track on that vision. Keep track on what I truly want. What intrinsic motivation is driving this whole force? What was the thing that made me want to change something out there? That made me want to do something outstanding that hasn't been there in that regard before? And what kind of thing do I want to solve with it? And to get back to this feeling and connect, when I connect with that feeling again, what made me want to do something, because I see value for others as well, then there's energy coming back that's indescribably big. Once I start to zoom out, but still have this narrow focus on that vision, on this energy that is so clearly positioned within my field, and is almost sending over the calmness of whatever or wherever I will go. Even though there's so much to do, even though there's so many different kind of parts I could get lost in, there's still this punctuated state or position from this energy that just carries me with calmness and state of mind that can handle all these big things that have to get moved. So I'll definitely have to ground myself more often back to what is the thing I'm solving. What is it that made me feel so energetically loaded, so motivated to 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 build this, to approach this whole thing. Because when I see this one thing very clearly, I can remind myself of how deeply rooted this like belief in the solution may be. And there are so many more steps to come, and maybe things change up completely on the way, because maybe other people need something else, and I'll try to give them whatever feels best to them, not in a regard where I just only adapt to what they say, but where I listen to what users say and look at what people may actually need. But I think I'm on the right track by helping people just be easier able to connect with each other based on their interests. Because that's what we carry. We carry ourselves throughout our days with things we like to do. And when these things are mostly done alone, we could share them as well. Because that's what I was living in long time, not being able to share, or just not doing it, because I certainly committed my time to things that made me the person I am today, and that exchange just came with not having too much time with others, because I wouldn't have been able to make the experiences I've made today when I would have gone out, spent time with people, and just sunken into fields that may not actually have room in it for growth, for personal development, for an actual movement you do. And I'm not saying that people in general come up or carry, or connections carry less growth, and that only through the experience through in isolation there comes growth. This is the complete wrong thing. But I think whenever you have the feeling of not getting enough value out of the times you have with other people, then you just surround yourself with the wrong ones, with those that don't carry your intrinsic values, your motivations, and your room for development. That is then just the case. And that's basically where I try to chain these feelings and thought process together, and started to build something, and started to see that whenever I could be able to share my interests or find people through whatever they like to do and what they value, this doesn't have to be okay, we can go hiking, we can go running, we could do cycling. No, whatever niche thing you might be interested about, it doesn't matter. I want that people can actually see what others like to do and just search or look up those people, or get seen by others. So when I bring out these feelings and thoughts, or these whole concepts, and where these ideas came from and what kind of needs I want to fulfill with them, it's routing me back to the initial motivation, as mentioned before, where I can start to retrieve energies that are giving me the calmness to see more clearly within all this noise, within all this information flood I have to take up. And it's the most important thing to find a way to get things rolling, to understand the matter you're in more and more, and delve into fields that haven't been discovered by you before, because there might lie the solution for what you do now at the moment, what you try to get out there. But they have to be tapped by you. They have to be like discovered and felt and actually being in a specific exchange with you. Because whenever they are not, you'll come back to being naive to a certain degree. Likely. Doesn't need to be like that. You can also find a working solution only focusing on that one thing, just pulling your way through all these different kind of things, and sometimes not even looking too hard, and it could work out as well. I'm not saying this is the master plan for all, but I think the likelihood of and how I would define the likelihood of success in the area I am currently building something in, and that is just or not just, but it is an application, it is tech, it is consumer or user driven, and it's for community. It's something where so many different factors come into play that I just have to be the one who is exposing myself to all these unknown topics. And that is good, because what drives all this should always be this initial vision and motivation for all this. What will I solve? What will I want people to be able? And when I see that others are actually able to get something, to get something highly valuable from a technical solution, then that's the biggest fulfillment I can think of at this time. So I'll strive for that as hard as I can, and I will have many more times where I won't feel like, and I know for certain that I won't feel like half an hour later when I'm on my way back home or sitting at my desk again and knowing that I now have to get back on track into the structure, and that tomorrow and other days I will still have dependencies, I will still not be able to sustain myself, I will still have a long way to go, and I'm not even at the start. But that is okay. I got that vision and I want that this comes to life. That's it. I want to see what could be done, and I want to be part of it, and I won't lose on that. It is what I have grown in myself, and I want to hold on to this and use it as my shield, as something where I can grow from, where I can build my resilience, where I can develop myself further and further and take so much experience with it, even when it fails, it still gives me so much room for growth, because I was determined. That's what I can tell myself then. And whenever something else have to be made to get further, then that sort of path can be taken. But now I'm on that road, and I'll stick to it, because I want to see how far I can get with it. And only by then, by these actual measures, by seeing how agile and adapt, how hard and good I can adapt to what I see, then I can decide for myself. Not before, when I'm still in a situation where I don't know what the outcome is going to be. But the one thing I can know is that when I stick to, I will have an outcome that is guaranteed, and an outcome that is guaranteed will always be the experience. And that outcome is also a great one. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it ends out, whatever we do. Yeah, sure, we can make decisions that may impact our lives in a very negative way, but when we stick to a certain risk management where we see, okay, that's not how far I can go now, hey, oh my god, wow, I can't tell you how great this is now. This is the kitten I was seeing last time, and like it was 2 days ago, where she was strolling around over there, and after the video I was following her and looked what she was doing and was playing with her, and now she's playing with my tripod. Wow, that is such a great experience. Oh my god, amazing. And she's likely the most beautiful kitten I've ever seen. She got so many beautiful colors on her. Wow, I think I told you all. I'll be meow. Wow, you beauty. Wow, you made my day. You made my day. Definitely, yeah. And I think I'll be following her again, just as last time, because it was such a great experience. We were up there. I was filming here next to the highway, and she was like running or walking down there. I followed her, and then she heard some birds and went down into the bushes. But I was with her for some time, and it was great. I'm very happy she got back to me. I very much like her, so I'll be following her. Yeah, that was an cut I had to make here. I'm sorry, but yeah, wish you all the best and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.